Greetings. I'm Taven of a Mind Transformed, and this is Manna for your journey. Right now, we are living in the midst of something probably most of us, I would venture to say none of us, have ever seen in our entire lives: the COVID-19 pandemic. It is affecting people across racial lines, across gender lines, across all social lines. It's affecting people that have great wealth, those that don't. It's affecting people that are famous and those that are not. There isn't anyone safe from this COVID-19 virus, and it is spreading at an alarming rate. You can easily get information online that'll tell you who's infected with the virus, who has recovered from the virus, who has mild conditions, who is in critical condition, and who has died. We're being inundated daily with White House press briefings, briefings from your local governor, anything you can get on news media, people posting on social media. Everywhere you turn, there's a conversation or information about COVID-19. And this information, while it can be factual at times, causes a lot of people to have anxiety, concern, stress, worry, and even fear. People are either being laid off from their job or furloughed. I think unemployment jobless claims hit 10 million over the past week. I believe I saw in a report. And with all of this information that we have, again, some of it is correct and factual. My question to you is this: whose report are you going to believe? Numbers 13 and 14 tells us a story of how the spies were sent into the land of Canaan. God told Moses to select leaders from the tribes and then send them into the land to spy it out and bring back a report. After 40 days, these men came back. They gave the people initially started off to be a good report. They showed them the fruit of the land. They had taken pomegranates and figs and cut down grapes, and they brought them back to show the people, and they told them it was truly a land that flowed with milk and honey. And then they told people that the land was harsh. It devours its inhabitants. And because of that, the men that lived there were great. Some of them were even giants, and they couldn't take it. But Joshua and Caleb stood against that report, and they said, "The Lord is with us. The people in that land have lost their protection. We can take it." In the midst of all the information that we're going to hear, whose report are you going to believe? The report that stirs up fear or the report of faith? And some of you may be watching this saying, "That's easy for you to say. You don't understand what I'm going through. Right now, I barely have enough food, and it's hard to go out and get any in these conditions." In 1 Kings 17, 8 through 16, Elijah was sent to a widow in the midst of a drought. When he arrived at her house, he said, "May I have some water? And also, can you bring me a little bit of bread?" She said, "All I have is a little bit of meat and a little bit of oil. I'm going to gather sticks, going to cook this last bit, and then me and my son are going to wait to die." And he said, "Prepare me some first." And God made her little bit of meat and her little bit of oil last until the drought was over. You're saying, "Taven, well, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. I'm not sure how it's going to work. I don't have the money to cover them, and I'm not working." In 2 Kings 4, 1 through 7, we hear the story of Elisha and another widow. She had just lost her husband, who was a man of God, who served God faithfully, but when he died, he left his family in debt. She wasn't working, and the creditors were going to come take her 2 sons. And she asked Elisha, "What can I do?" He asked her, "What do you have in the house?" She told him she had a jar of oil. He gave her instructions on what to do with that oil, and when she was done, he told her to sell what she had, and it was going to be enough to not only pay off her debt, but for her to live off of the rest of her life. God provided the children of Israel with manna from heaven for 40 years to feed them. They complained that they were out in the wilderness without food, and he rained manna from heaven that when they woke up every morning, it was there for them to collect, so they wouldn't have to worry about starving. Whose report are you going to believe? You have the report of faith, or you have the report of what can be construed and is facts. The report of faith or fear. Because at the end of the day, we don't know when this is going to end. Only God does. But while we can't control the outcome, we can control whose report we choose to believe. And if you have your relationship with God, now is the time to stand on your faith. This is not the time to waver. This is what faith prepares us for. Times of uncertainty when we can trust in the sovereignty of God and not the reports of the situation. Well, thank you for allowing me to share a few minutes in your day. I am Tabin of a Mind Transformed, and this has been Manna for Your Journey. Be blessed.